Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. Now here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The Asian Development Bank has approved a $500 million loan for the Philippines to support recovery in employment. Under the post-COVID-19 Business and Employment Recovery Program, the ADB will help the government address the impact of the pandemic on livelihoods and the labor market. This as the ADB reports that the Philippines had one of the steepest employment declines in 2020. The ADB will assist the government in creating a more, quote, liberalized business and investment environment, which would create more jobs. The program also supports government initiatives to expand labor market programs as well as address skills mismatches. The Bangko Sentral reports that the country booked a net inflow of hot money last year. Data shows that foreign portfolio investments registered with the BSP posted a net inflow of nearly $887 million last year. This outweighs the net outflow of over $574 million in 2021. While the 2022 figure missed the BSP target of $3.5 million, it is the largest since the $1.2 billion inflow posted in 2018. Foreign portfolio investment is known as hot money as it can enter and exit a jurisdiction with ease. That is opposed to foreign direct investment, which is considered stickier and less fickle. Meanwhile, only around 50% of authorized galunggong imports have arrived since November. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources said galunggong imports topped 25,000 metric tons. That is half of the target volume during the close season. Regulators periodically shut down fisheries in order to allow fish stocks to regenerate. The BFAR did not discuss why the importation quota was not met. President Bongbong Marcos is set to meet with stakeholders on Monday to discuss onion prices. Presidential Communications Secretary Cheloy Garafil says the president will sit down with farmers, vendors, traders, and importers. This as monitoring by the Agriculture Departments found that imported onions are selling for 180 pesos to 200 pesos per kilo. The meeting will come after the deadline of onion importation today, January 27. Now, as of Tuesday, January 24th, the country has received 1,800 metric tons of imported onions. Up to 5,000 metric tons of onions are expected to arrive today. Meanwhile, the Agriculture Department says it will determine whether onions sold at the Divisoria are part of the shipment that arrived this week. This as the DA explains that the newly arrived supply have yet to finish quarantine and should not be out of cold storage just yet. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. Manila Water will invest over 37 billion pesos for water treatment projects. This will cover the construction of treatment facilities and a sewer network across the Marikina River, San Juan River, Pasig River, and Laguna Lake. Manila Water says the projects are designed to collect, convey, and treat wastewater generated within their respective catchment areas. The company also plans to deploy new dislodging trucks as well as build a treatment plant for sanitation services in parts of Rizal. The higher ceiling for credit card charges is seen to boost interest earnings of Philippine banks. The Philippine Star quoted Fitch Ratings as saying that it could add up to 40 billion pesos in interest income for the banking sector. With this, it would buoy the net interest margins of Philippine banks that is already projected to rise due to the aggressive rate hikes. The Bangko Sentral has raised the monthly interest rate ceiling on credit card charges by 100 basis points to 3% from 2%. On to some tech updates. Investments in AI are booming. An analyst explains on Bloomberg TV the rise in mainstream AI and why investors should be excited about the space. Let's listen in.
You said in particular that this is perhaps feeling like the early launch of the internet itself. Why so? What's so important and impactful about generative AI?
I think, before the release of ChatGPT, many people had been underestimating the progress that AI has been making over the last few years and will make going forward. It was kind of like the spark that lit the fire of startup innovation around generative AI, and it also created a renewed fundraising dynamic. One way to think about it is that we've gone from these systems of prediction, like classification or recommendation systems, to these systems of creation. And so you now have these really interesting, powerful generative systems like our portfolio company Jasper, which can help you write a blog post, or Stable Diffusion, which can generate images, or GitHub Copilot, which can help write code. And we'll likely see copilots emerge with the ability to create first drafts for all sorts of other functions besides programming. Eventually medical documentation, legal contracts, school lesson plans, and things like that.
The thing for me, Lon, is it all comes down to money. It always comes back to money, right? And the team over at Sequoia Capital writing this research report recently that AI has the potential, particularly generative AI, to generate trillions of dollars of economic value. How do we get there to actually, implement AI in a way that leads to value creation or products and services we can actually charge for?
It will be very interesting to watch where the pools of value will accrue and where the economic moats will be the deepest with these new generative AI technologies, if anywhere. Some people believe that the economic power will go to the companies that are building the large foundation models because they require so much time and skill and money to create, like OpenAI and Google and others. And some think that the moats will be deepest with the companies that are fine-tuning the models for specific use cases, because they can enjoy things like demand-side economies of scale from having proprietary training data or a flow of feedback data from users. But I think it's a little early. It's still the fog of war around it all.
Lonnie, your CV is fascinating. We just showed some of your portfolio companies on the screen. You interned at Microsoft in your earlier years. You worked at IBM. Who is going to get there first? Big tech company like Microsoft or the more nimble startups that you're investing in now?
I think the rise of generative AI in particular could help to democratize access to AI technology because it can be delivered as a service. Such a versatile capability, these foundation models, it may be easier for regular companies to consume and without being quite as deep tech. But I would say it's also important to remember that it's not just the generative AI companies that are making transformative impact. In the kind of more traditional AI, like in computer vision AI in healthcare, for example, we have a portfolio company, Overjet, where the CEO, Warda, and her team have built powerful technology that can tell you whether your tooth needs a filling or a crown based on its reading of a dental x-ray. Or Iterative Health, which can apply computer vision to colonoscopy videos in real time. It can catch cancerous polyps missed by a gastroenterologist, which can be hugely impactful for healthcare. So there's going to be a lot of progress over the next couple of years. I think it'll be pretty fun to watch.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now. That's at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I'm Danny Laurel. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.